time out. And I wonder why we don't say make time out. And we say, make the time, and I wonder why we don't say take the time.
Morning, Nikki.
Morning, Hans. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Nikki.
Oh, afternoon, Ian.
Morning, Nikki.
Morning, Alison.
Morning, Nikki.
Morning, Jessie.
We had an iPhone join.
Yes.
Is that
Okay.
you?
Me, Jessie. It's Lynn.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
Lynn.
What are you doing?
Lynn. Oh, my days. Where have you been?
Oh, I have been.
Yeah, I hear that. But it's good to hear your voice.
And you too. Thank you.
Mm.
Morning, Craig.
Oh, morning, Craig.
Good morning, people.
Oh, hello there. Feel that.
Nikki likes my morning voice.
I like it. I'm telling you, it's just like, whoa, wake up. I'm drinking coffee. I can't. Wow, that's
Hit theta brainwave.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Oh,
Now, listen, you want to catch us up, catch them up?
So we have Nikki, Lynn, Ian, Heinz, and Craig at the house so far, as Joe would say. And I had my word this morning, which I think I had last week as well, was implementation. And then I mentioned that I've been kind of aware lately about working in my head with take or make, and just noticing the different charge around when I use what, which one. So if anybody else has got a word, that would be great.
I've got a word, innocence. I went to laughter yoga yesterday, and we were just running around on a field, being silly, laughing like kids, and it was yeah, it was really good. Did some roly polies down the hill. It was nice. It was nice. My inner child loved it. So yeah, innocence.
Mm.
The word I'm feeling is expansion.
Mm. I find that interesting because innocence feels like expansion.
Great words. Thank you. I'm pulling on joy through the challenge today. Just the joy. Through the situation, the challenge, the opportunity. Making or taking.
I've got another
Joy.
word as well. Sorry.
Go for it.
I got another word, purity. The last month or so, I've just been seeing past all the limiting beliefs and bullshit and seeing the purity of my soul and seeing how pure I am past it all. And that it's all bullshit. We're all pure
Mm.
in our core, deep down, past all the programming, conditioning, wounding. Yeah, purity. Purity of the soul.
Mm.
And then add the power of the soul.
Mm.
Today in the USA, it's the September the 11th. And that's when the Twin Towers were bombed.
Yeah.
It was quite a moment to stop and really acknowledge that, I was in South Africa at the time, in Cape Town, when it happened. And kid you not, the actual traffic stopped. It just stopped when they heard the news. Everyone had their radios on. Everyone had TVs on in their restaurants, in the salons, everywhere. People rushing into each other's, business, saying, "Did you hear? Did you hear?" Yeah. So everyone really got affected that day. Not needed to be in the country when it happened, but everyone got affected. And so, what my assumption of how acknowledging that is to say that we were born to be free. I'm born to be free. And
Well,
free is an
come-
free is an expansion word. It's a very, like, you can stretch it as much as you want.
Hmm.
But you were born to be free to be you, with no labels, with no conditions, with no expectations, but to bring your heart to the world. That's who you are. You're born free to love. So that's my word for the day. Freedom to love. Just because you love it. So thank you.
Good evening, Ipni.
Thank you, Nikki. Freedom to love and remember.
And honor. Bowing to the emotion. Bowing to the lives that we lived.
As Nikki was saying it, I was getting power of community. When something tragic like that happens, how the community come together and it's really powerful. Power of community. Power of coming together as one, lifting each other up. Giving a stranger on the street you've never met a hug. Community, power.
Freedom to love. Good evening, Ebony.
Good evening, Jesse, and anyone else that's here. Sharing the space. Lovely to be here, connecting with you guys. Thank you.
Just a few remaining words.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki, for bringing up freedom. Freedom to love. That word freedom is a life theme for me. And it's about being born free to start with. But it's also about bringing freedom into this dense earth energy that has not experienced very much freedom. It's about bringing freedom in from the other side. And reestablishing it here and now. And as I'm speaking, I'm just seeing Venus poke its nose through the clouds above me. So it's that's pretty cool.
May I share? I hope you can hear me and it's not too echoey.
Yeah, hear you.
Thank you. For me, when I hear freedom, I also hear bondage and captivation. So for me, my word started off with enjoy as within the present of the present moment, which for me, that means the connection to the soul beyond all story, limitations, definitions, identities, be it freedom or bondage. That if we return to the light of the soul, all that is, I just see it crumbling away and disappearing, the bondage to freedom. In going within, in the present moment, in the presence of the soul. That's my presence in the present moment now. Bring the soul into it, into all of it, because it just is. All of it just is. We are everything and nothing. And appreciating the present of the presence of the light and love of the soul. That's it.
What came to me, Lynn, was boundless freedom.
That just jumped into my head right there, right then, with the expansion and the word that somebody else had, the boundless expansion of somebody else had a word that jumped into me as well. Well, yeah, thanks,
that was
Alison.
you. That was your word about 100 days ago, Lynn.
I think that was
What?
Lynn's word right from the beginning, Craig,
Yeah, exactly.
Boundless.
which is 200 days ago.
Boundless love. It just is, right? It itself is freedom without any need to define or identify or measure. It's boundless. Boundless. In the visceral sense of it, it has no words, it has no definition. It's just pure. That's the word. Boundless purity. I think it was Ian that brought in purity.
It was.
That you feel the presence of it. That's just it. Seeping through every cell of all your 70 plus trillion cells that exist to be magnificent you. That's my gratitude in the presence of the presence right now. So thank you for being you. And thank you for being me.
Thank you all. Great start. Everyone get a chance to share?
Maybe I'll just add honoring your being, honoring thyself. And just expanding on that, honoring showing up even in this group, to honor your being and to express who you are, because we know in this world there are so many challenges and so much conditioning that we've been faced with. So to be able to show up in this space is honoring your being. And yeah, there's so much more to say about this, but I've been reflecting on this a lot lately, and the challenges that even so many men go through. There's so much focus on what women and women's rights and everything, and when we think about it and feel into it with compassion, men have been really conditioned to play a certain role as well, and the expectations on them to play that role have done a lot of damage as far as cutting them off emotionally to themselves and their heart. And so it's both genders have at some point in time really struggled, I feel, to come into their own and honor their being. So to anyone that is here, I honor you for recognizing yourself and what you have in your heart enough to show up for yourself and be here for others as well. So thank you.
That was beautiful. And I thank you, Len and Alison, and everyone on this call too. Because it takes a very brave heart to show up. So bravery heart, brave heart. When it's just like my whole body is just shifting now as I say that, because it's shifting right with everything and for everything that is and everything that's not. So beautiful. Very freeing to be in a space that you can be. And you can express yourself with excitement, with joy, with enthusiasm, with expectation, just to know what is there around the corner? What is there if I, how's my coffee's going to taste today? The simple little things that we take advantage. But when we stay in our heart with that presence of thanking, being thankful, constantly thankful for who you are, for where you are, for what you've done, what you haven't done still. So never let that ever die in you because somebody says that is stupid.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. That is dumb. Yeah. Give you a smirk on their face and go like, really now? What are you on about? You keep that because that is what you came here for. To be brave, to be free and be in your heart and express yourself. 100% express yourself, regardless if they accept it, receive it, resonate with it, it doesn't matter.
Again.
It's not your job. Your job is to be in your heart.
Venus peeking out behind that one cloud there.
Being free. You matter.
Wow. So nice. Yeah, in order for that hierarchy to be maintained, a lot of men have had to be directly oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
100%.
And I found that the
Absolute.
only way out for me anyway was to abandon the hierarchy altogether. And it takes guts to do that because that's the prevailing infrastructure for everything on the earth right now.
Yeah.
And understanding your worth. Understanding
Yes.
doesn't come from your status, how much you've climbed the ladder, or how much money you bring in, or I don't know, the expectations, and it goes both ways, but I think it doesn't get as talked about as much with men. like the expectations on men to play this certain role and to just hold so much weight, you know, in a family situation or in a workplace. There's a lot that they carry, and because of that, it's really what I've noticed is it so much pressure on them to succeed and play this role that it just is so disconnecting.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
even just do this
Because you're forced to maintain the hierarchy that's actually killing you and oppressing you.
Mm.
And it's like you have no other choice but to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And defend it with your life, literally.
Yeah.
You know, that's the pressure that I've felt.
Yeah, it was really this all came to light. I had an influx of the male clients come in for the sessions that I do, and working with them over a couple of weeks, and they were in different age. It was really bizarre the way that it happened. It was like, you know, 60, 50, 40, 30. So I got a glimpse and was able to feel into these energetic fields of different generations and how the energy evolves. So like the person that was in their 60s was at this point where they would they just realized that they've spent their life existing and were at this point where they just knew there was more to life. There had to be more to life. So they were questioning this. And then the 50-year-old was going through similar, but still had interests, but hadn't done what they really wanted to do. If we go down to like where the 30-year-old was, the 30-year-old was just starting to question, like not having anything that made him happy because he was so busy working, trying to save for a house with his girlfriend and the expectation around that. And holding on to this, you know, like image for her parents and stuff. So there's like a whole evolution that came, that unfolded, and it like fully affected me. I could see what happened, and actually, it was really took me a little while to unpack that, and but yeah, brought great compassion for the situation as well in my heart because I was able to understand it. So it just isn't talked about though, like the whole, you know, women, yes, have been oppressed in certain ways as well, but so have men. And it's just not talked about, and I think it should be, because it's huge. Anyway, thank you for letting me get that out.
Thank you for sharing that, Ebony.
You're welcome. I honor you guys heaps. I honor every one of you. It can be really challenging to get to a place where you decide and make the decision to just be. So thank you.
The one thing I like to remember is that everyone, even those that seem to be the perpetrators of that oppression, are oppressed by it. Like it's a dark energy, like a swarm. That has taken over the earth and its inhabitants.
Well, that's our challenge, right? Is to overcome the shadow side of ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, we've come to realize that the only way out is in.
Wow, this is so beautiful. I feel everyone's heart here this morning. And it's so present and open to what is new.
Yeah.
And the past is over. You know, it's in biblically, it's been written, the past is over. You knew. You knew. And as we choose life today and remember the lives that we have lost also in the remembrance, then their lives were not in vain, you know. They came and they served a purpose, regardless of how the outcome came. It's not for us to judge that. And for me, the joy that has been something that I have leaned towards because it gives me strength. And if you don't mind me sharing that, this is something that I really love to share today, that it's understanding joy is not just happiness. Joy is about escaping the lows and chasing the highs. Joy is about being present in here and now, embracing your own goodness. It is that moment when you realize that the boundless potential within you, whether it's ecstatic happiness, deep sadness, fury, anger, or nagging worry, joy embraces, emerges when you fully engage with whatever happening in the present moment. It is a celebration of being turned into life ever changing dance. Do you want more joy in your life? Come join me in the dance of joy this morning. Yeah, dance together, celebrating. Because it's here, right here, right now. As Lynn explained that very beautifully, right here, right now. Honoring that moment, honoring this now moment. Wow.
Yeah, and embracing those conflicts that continue to reside inside me.
Mm.
And show them compassion.
Mm. And allowing to experience everything as it is with no judgment.
Yeah, allowing that conflict to express itself
Mm.
however it needs to.
Beautiful.
Ebony, are you still up to take us on a journey?
Are you ready to go up?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so I was thinking we will go and meet with some of our galactic family, if you guys are okay with that. So when I talk
Yes,
about
please.
galactic family, we are all galactic citizens. The Earth is a part of this galactic civilization across the multiverses. Each of you have galactic lineage, and you have support also, and it changes from time to time depending on where you're at in your life and what mission you're carrying out. So I thought it would be interesting to go up in the ship and see if you can connect in with who might be working with you and get a name and take note of the attire they might be wearing, their skin, what they look like. All those sorts of things will give you clues as well to where they come from. And yeah, so it's a very a fun experience if you've never been on a ship. Have a look around when we get up there and stuff as well. They're waiting for us. I've already been up today, so they knew we were coming anyway. There's a bit of excitement, so if you will, get comfortable. It'll probably be about 30 minutes. I just saw someone pop up, so about 30 minutes. So yeah, get comfortable. I'm going to start by breathing into our stomach, just expanding our diaphragm, pushing your stomach out, and exhaling, drawing your stomach back in, taking a nice deep breath again, doing the same thing, just really emptying the diaphragm when you exhale. Bringing your focus into your heart space now. Just breathing into this area. Notice a color start to form in the center of your heart. As you're breathing in, it should start to expand outwards. So breathing in and out of that heart space, we're going to create a sphere with that color, expanding it out around ourselves. This is your protective shield. Just focusing on that for a minute. Once you've got a nice big bubble around you, you can check that it's nice and secure by imagining an arrow or something shooting in to it. And if it bounces off, you're good. You not, take a few moments to strengthen that. Then we're going to just take a moment to strengthen from the inside and fill that bubble with lots of love. We can do that by thinking about something you're grateful for today, something that made your heart want to burst through the week. Thinking about the connections we've made in here. Your bubble should start to float once you're full from the inside out. Light, love. As you start floating up into the sky, you have a look around, you'll notice everyone else's bubble floating too. We're actually going to head into galactic portal, which will be a nice big golden globe. We need to head straight up. So in my head, everyone's kind of forming a line but we're like one behind the other. So we're going vertically in a line up. Taking some time to have a look around as the trees and houses all fade. Looking to the sky. Slowly turning from day to night. As we get higher, the stars all become more apparent. There's more of them, more gold. That big golden globe ahead is presenting itself. We're traveling straight up there. This is a galactic gateway that we're going to be stepping through. Once we head through here, I'm going to count backwards from 5, and on 0 we'll step out into the other side. We will be greeted by a ship. 5, 4, stepping in, there's enough room. 3, feel the golden light surrounding you, within your bubble and outside of your bubble. 2, moving towards the exit here. 1, and coming out the other side. 0. You have a look in front of you. You'll see a ship. It's a large ship. There is a metallic bridge that's guiding us over. And if you have a look into the doorway, you'll see there is a couple of beings waving us over. So let's go. Let's walk towards them. There's excitement in the air. As we get to the ship door, we are welcomed in. We're going to travel down this big hallway following a shorter being. I see a shorter being. I'm not sure if anyone else can see any other beings. Taking a look around us now. What can you see? Going down the hallway, we're going to turn left. We're invited into a large space. And in the middle of this large space is an elevator. It has a tube all the way up through the ceiling. We're being asked to hop into that elevator. There's beings in this room, so if you have a look, you'll see different types of beings. Some are clapping their hands, some you can just feel the excitement here. They're happy. They're happy you have come. So we're going up this elevator, and as we go up this elevator, we can actually see outside of the ship. There's a few other ships. I can see a few other ships that seem to be docked around us. This is a massive ship we're on, and I believe we're going up into an area that has different rooms, and we're all going to go into these separate rooms. So as the elevator stops now, we'll hop out of here. You have a guide, a specific guide that extends their hand, and you're going to follow that guide down the hallway into a room where there are more beings waiting for you. There's a golden circle in the middle of the room that you will be taken to. As you stand on that, you notice that there's 3 or 4 beings that have come forward, standing around you. Turn to face one of them and have a look. Connect in with your eyes. These beings all connect in differently. They have their own ways that you will innately remember. As you greet them, go with whatever feels right for you. These beings are here to support you on your journey. Some have been for a very long time. They operate in the higher realms, and they are assisting you because you resonate with the same essence that they have in their heart. Take some time to just connect in, see what information you can share with this being. Ask questions if you like. If it's hard to hear, sometimes I create a golden tube that extends from my heart to their heart. It allows me to hear messages. You can ask their name. And again, if you can't hear what the name is, you can ask them to spell it for you. When you're ready, turn to the next being. going through a similar process, taking note of their clothes, their demeanor, how they offer their greetings. The presence of their energy, what does it feel like? Do they have any messages for you? Have you got any questions for them? Can you hear their thoughts? When you're ready, step to the next being. What does their clothing feel like? Is there any particular emblems or jewels? Do they look humanoid? Are they part of any particular council? What would they like you to know? If there are other beings to connect with, continue to do so. If there is anything in particular that you would like activated within you, you can request this. If there is anything that you would like particular assistance with, you can request this. Once you have finished connecting in, come back into the center of that golden point that you're standing on, and just put your hands over your heart. We are going to request that each of you have your telepathic abilities activated, and that those telepathic abilities come back into Earth Realm for you to explore and expand. You'll notice that these beings are creating a beam of light out of their forehead. One is activating the front of your forehead. Now the light's going into your heart. Notice if you feel any kind of electrical currents, subtle energy change within your being. Just feel into this for a moment. The light that's being projected into you is rewiring certain circuits in your neurological pathway. Nervous system is being activated to work with these. It's amplifying the senses so you can pick up on energetic exchanges from the mind. So now this process is done. Take a moment to thank each of these beings for connecting with you, and listen to the message that each of them have in your mind. Don't worry if you can't hear yet. We're going to practice really opening up those channels over the next few weeks. So offer your gratefulness from your heart and allow yourself to be guided back out of this room. Having another look around, all those other beings that are in the room are working with you at different times, and they're all there to support you. Just so you know, there might be some funny characters in the room. As we walk back out, we're going to jump back in that elevator. We go back down, down. And as we exit the elevator, you'll notice that there is a lot of cheering and clapping going on. This is honoring your being and thanking you for coming to greet the people that you're working with, the energy beings that you're working with, all for the greater good. Hopefully, this will spark a little bit of remembrance as we journey back down to earth, coming back down through that hallway now. Can you notice any of the panels with the lights and things like this? What does the roof look like in the ship? Are there windows? Coming back out to that metallic ramp, going to cross over. But before we leave, we're going to turn. Notice that they are bowing down to honor your beings and your beingness. I too am going to honor theirs and give them the same back. Leaving some of my light from my heart with them also. I'm going to go back into that portal. You'll join me. I'm going to come back down into earth and share our experiences. It's popping in now, counting back from 5, 4. Just taking a moment to reflect, taking in all the light in this portal. 3. Hand on your hearts. Feel your heart. 2. Feel the love. Feel the love. 1. Stepping out now. 0. Back into earth realm, in our bubbles, floating back down through the atmosphere, taking a look around us, feeling into your heart, thinking about the experience that you just had and that you're bringing back into earth realm, knowing that you are never alone. We are never alone. And now you have the ability to tap into your galactic family, and we will work on expanding our telepathic awareness so that we can hear them more clearly here on Earth. Noticing the treetops and the houses, and the daylight is coming back into the reality as we float on down. Taking a nice deep breath into our heart space. Coming back into the space that you are currently in and that you left prior to this experience. Wiggling your feet, toes, fingers, roll your shoulders. When you're ready, open your eyes and feel free to share what you experienced. Is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Didn't really see or hear anything. Felt more like I was bathing in the sun. In the actual sun. Felt the waves of sunlight crashing through me. Like felt the liquids of the sun cooling me down and then getting up into the heat again.
Hmm.
Sort of drifted off. But very energized.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Almost feel like I need a shower. That was hot. Hi, Pascal.
Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, or good evening.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Ebony, I just wanted to ask, I saw like an alien type that looked like an insect, and I was getting the word mantis. Or do you
Yeah.
know do you know who the Mantians are? Mantis.
Yeah, the mantis beings, they're a very peaceful race. And yeah, they're here amongst us here on Earth as peacekeepers, also attached to the elementals. You must have like you've got like a really strong elemental resonance. Have you looked into the mantis beings?
I've heard of them before, but it was just like a giant bug. That's how I can describe it. Never looked into them now. And
Yeah.
I saw the blue avians, and I saw grey aliens, but I'm not sure who they were.
Yeah, there's lots of different grey aliens. So the ones that were on the ship would have been of a, yeah, they're not negative entities. Space was cleared of that. Did you see others? That's really cool that you can see them.
Just bird-like people, but I already know the blue avians and grey aliens. I think they were Zeta.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Were like long necks. They were grey and long. They had long necks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any names, and how did you connect in with them? How did you talk to them?
They didn't really talk. Just feeling it in heart.
Yeah. You got the hot feeling as well, did you?
No heart.
Okay, into the heart.
Yeah, just looking into the eyes. Not really any words, to be honest.
What was the feelings that you were getting? Like what came to mind when you were feeling into that space?
I just got the name Jeremid. I don't know Jeremid.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you can have a look into that one. Thanks, Google. That will probably have a message in it.
And Galactic Federation. If we went to that ship, I'm not sure, but that's why I feel like I went.
Yeah, the association there. Yes.
Yeah, that was my question. Where did you guys go?
Pascal, you missed out. We took a ship. We went up in the ships and just met some of our galactic family and galactic network that we've been working with just to jog some memories.
Wow.
Yeah, activated some telepathic coding within our DNA that we'll expand on if you guys want.
Mm.
Did anyone else? Jesse, I'm interested to hear, did you meet with anyone?
Yeah, it was more forms, just silhouettes. And I couldn't quite all get detail, but wasn't worried about it either. I had a circadians, something like that.
Well,
It's the name that I got.
Yeah.
Different shapes. That's about what it was shapes and movements and no words.
Mhm.
Warriors. Questions. Just still a lot of downloading.
Mhm. Yeah, great. That's good.
Thank you for a first journey. Yeah, good
Mhm.
first journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be interested to see over the next few weeks if you start noticing silhouettes around you.
Mm,
Have you ever seen silhouettes around you? Or
No.
Well, if you do, you'll know that it's just your support crew.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. How did you go, Alison?
It was really nice to do this in a group because I've been very blessed in that I've been introduced a while back through another healer that I work with, or channeler more. So it was it was just really nice. And strengthening of messages, you know. Yeah. So thank you so much for bringing this in. I really, really appreciate it. So my group have got blue skin.
Mm.
And what was interesting was that in the messages that came, they were messages that I've been given before, but I guess I hadn't embodied them enough yet, and maybe I'll have to do more even, but it just felt stronger. And they were all from different situations that I'd been in with different guides. So that was really interesting for me.
Mm. It sounds like it was resonating with what you understand. There was a connection there. Like for your journey, it was relative to your experiences, which is nice. Nice to hear. It's nice to feel that, I think.
Yes, and to be, I usually do mine at night. I don't usually do these in the morning. So to start a Monday morning off with them is pretty cool.
How did you go, Craig?
I wasn't in a place where I could focus very well, but yeah, a lot of these kind of experiences for me are very I kind of absorb them. Like it's I find a lot of times it doesn't really require focus for me. It's just kind of being in the ambiance of what's going on. And it all unfolds over the next couple of weeks for me, like the meaning of everything. So I'm sorry I can't be very specific at the moment, but it'll keep coming out.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank yourself. Yeah. I hope that now that you know how to access these places, you can practice it for yourself and expand on it. Just use your intuition. There, you don't even necessarily have to go up into that space. You can just tap in with your telepathic abilities. So the biggest thing that I wanted to try and experiment with here tonight was activating these telepathic pathways and obviously opening up that gateway or channel for you to be able to receive the messages and also gain some rememberings, because these beings that you're connecting with have been in your life for a long time, and when I say a long time, different lifetimes, even different timelines, and you've worked together for a long time. As you raise your personal frequency, you may gain more insight into these connections. So hopefully, this will just activate a little bit of deeper remembering and pull you up a little bit more into that high frequency, having that direct connection. So we'll see how you go over the next couple of weeks. Call on them and just connect in with them whenever. That'll strengthen the relationship. It is a relationship, like any relationship, strengthens the more you connect in. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I look forward to hearing about any insights that you guys gain over going forward. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I just want to mention this too, Ebony, is that at this particular time in Earth history, there's a magnitude of support and involvement from the other side of the veil that's happening right now, and that's basically, there's all kinds of entities that are meant to be in support of those of us who are running around in human bodies at the moment. So just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Yep. This is, you're 100% right.
Really cold to get back.
Pardon?
It was really cold to get back. Now it's lightning and thunder here. I was so hot, sweating, and really enjoying bathing in what felt like the sun, but it could be that I couldn't see him and I was walking into him. I don't know, but it's really cold to get back in one's body then.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? That you experienced it all through those feelings of heat and coolness.
I could feel the elevator when you were talking. I could sense things moving. I'm a little colorblind, so I don't see nuances as well, but I could see like when you're going up in the elevator, next floor, next floor, next floor, like light going, passing by.
Your other,
Mm. That's really cool. What were the ships like? What could you see in the ships? What could you see anything? Like,
I didn't see or hear anything. I just felt much more like feeling, not colors, but light and darkness passing by as one moved.
yeah.
Why I said it was like swimming in the sun, above and below, up in the heat, down and into the cool of hydrogen and whatever it's made of, liquids. So sort of very energizing,
Mm. That's really
feeling
cool.
energy flow through me.
Yeah. It's really intriguing how people experience the different things. So you pick up obviously like your senses, you like utilize all your senses to feel energy. Everyone, yeah, it's interesting how everyone perceives the energy and can just express just how it resonates with them and how it expresses through them. But thank you everyone for sharing. It's insightful.
Yeah, experiences like this reacquaint us with those multidimensional senses that we've always had, but have lined dormant throughout our Earth experience, and now they're being brought to light again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll experience a lot of senses that seem unusual, but they're part of the new reality that we're stepping into.
Yeah. When we step into different dimensions, we perceive things differently.
Exactly.
Feels a lot like the word I had for today, expansion. I feel my energy is way larger than it used to be, way outside my body. Yeah. Normally I sense it about 3 to 5 centimeters. Now it's like half a meter where I can sense my energy flowing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, increased sensitivity is a really awesome thing. And awareness around that increased sensitivity too. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we step into that, sorry,
Go ahead, Ebony.
I was just going to say, when we step into that portal, whilst we're in there is kind of like cleansing and clearing and shifting any density. So you need to be calibrated at a certain frequency to be able to access these dimensions. So stepping into the portal acts as like a kind of like it's like a shower in a sense. You kind of go through there and it just acts as a big rod of selenite and just absorbs anything so that you can step into those other frequencies calibrated at that level and access certain things. So yeah, the more you practice going through, like the more clarity you gain, and the more you'll understand yourself in those dimensions. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
It allows one to bring so much more of what you are into the world, right?
Yes. Yes, Alison, that's exactly what happens when we come back through. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had a sense of that blockage. There's things in the way of letting them, releasing them, moving through to go deeper, to go farther, to experience difference. And that was one conversation that I had. Love was there, and it's the imagination. The creativity, the making, sensing something from nothing.
And that something is bigger than the palm of our hand. I always talk about sensing something in the palm of your hand, Ebony. That's why I'm bringing that in. Because we had this saying from Jesse that you get to that point of where there's everything and nothing and something. And so I always used to feel it in the palm of my hand, the something. But this is much, much bigger, to say the least.
Yeah. Like that concept.
So obviously I didn't experience anything this time, right? But I got told, like, when I had a reading, why I always take these mindlessly job is because I work a lot at night. And then I asked, like, can you explain? And she was like, yeah, you work a lot with the Pleiadian.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pascal.
But like, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. You go.
No, you go.
Okay, well, I was told once that I'm from the Pleiadians as well. So that's where our connection is.
Mm.
I always
There you
knew there
go.
was a connection. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. Yeah, like, and then I've been watching a lot of like, well, there's a few YouTube channels that I'm very selective now. I used to watch like a big array of podcasts and YouTube video, but I narrow it down quite a bit because I feel like a lot of the stuff doesn't resonate anymore. But the Tagetan and the Pleiadian, they really resonate with me. So I'll be looking forward to do this meditation and see what that's about.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Awesome. It's awesome that you are aware of these connections.
Yeah.
There's so much more to explore. Like it's
Oh.
just like there's so much to explore.
And I really feel like because we're starting to see these things, or these beings, not these things, but these beings, it's because like we're raising our frequency and then like we're trying to match it with them. right? So they can lower it and we can get it higher. I mean, we have a little bit of a harder time like to play with it than them, I would say. But when we're starting to match it, then we can start seeing them.
Yeah. So I can shed some light on that as well. So because I've seen them walking amongst us, like there is actually human beings that are wearing human suits that are not from here. And as we move and shift our personal frequency into these higher dimensions, like these higher frequencies in these inner dimensions that exist within us, because essentially that's where we're going. When we do these kind of meditations, we're going inside of ourselves. So these dimensions exist within us, and they are high vibrational pockets within us that we're accessing through these gateways. And so when we do that, our personal frequency is elevated. And when we are able to bring that into the reality, that that light that we sort of like tap into, we can bring that into the reality that we're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And when we elevate to a certain point, we start seeing things in a different way, in a different perception. And there's a certain point where you don't actually go back. You raise your personal frequency so much that you exist in a different dimension. And so then you get acquainted with that perception, and then you kind of like go deeper and you get acquainted with another dimension. And then you just learn to hold a certain frequency. You become the master of your energy, and you can exist in these different dimensions with elevated consciousness.
Yeah, you can project your consciousness anywhere you want and feel like it's there.
Yeah. Well, essentially, that's what we're doing. Yes, that's what creates our reality. And so, the higher the vibration, and the more aligned with our true self our thoughts become, the more beautiful our life becomes in all areas, because it's a reflection of how we're aligned with those divine energies that are projecting from us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, so if I just sort of share with you, right, the experiences that I've had, they weren't through a meditation. So I'm only learning that through meditation, I can actually access these places and assist others in going to this space, right? This is happening sort of now, as I existed in these different dimensions, and I knew that nobody else was seeing what I was seeing, and nobody else was experiencing what I was experiencing. And so if I don't know if I can share like this little piece of writing with you, and how I actually got into that and what I was experiencing, so you understand like that these dimensions and the experiences that I had, they actually are, they're like real, they're real places that we can exist in, and it's there all the time. We can reside in these dimensions where accessing these places exists just instantaneously. It's really hard to grasp the concept if you haven't experienced it. And so this is like, and I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but as long that you're open to it.
That's the thing. Yeah. Yes.
That is the key.
That is the key.
That's the message that I got today as well, because I need to open more.
Allow the light in.
Mm-hmm.
more and more.
That was the essence of the words that were exchanged for me too. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to read, Ebony?
Yeah, so it's just, it started when, like, so it just says here, right? From there's a certain point, and when you're able to, it just says, when I started to doubt my true sense of self and let go of the reality that I called my so-called home, that's when I was able to ask the questions about life and love, and why was the world so cruel, and I was noticing all these different things, right? So I didn't understand how so much hurt could be purposely inflicted in this world, and that's what drove me to release all, just everything that I knew. My whole reality became like I just had to let it all go and surrender, right? So there's no, I guess it just says, at this point in time, I lost all emotional balance and had no care to hide my intense emotional expressions. I traveled in and out of dimensions within myself, seeking answers from different questions that allowed me to journey into unmarked territory within. I still lived in the reality that I always knew, yet the other places that I traveled to gave perceptions that gave answers that were relative on so many different levels. Yet generally the place that I was in had a common theme, and I perceived these things as you would in a surrounding that expressed a certain way of life and understanding. So essentially what I'm saying is I didn't leave Earth to experience what I was experiencing. All that was happening was my perception shifted. So I was seeing things from a totally different point of view and understanding things at a much higher frequency. So I essentially recalibrated my physical body and my energetic systems, which allowed me to see things differently. So amongst these inner dimensions that were traveled were my past
Morning.
lives unwinding, and I knew nobody else was experiencing what I was, and I also knew they couldn't see into the dimensions that I was living in. I knew this after trying to explain a perspective point of view.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah, he's almost 10.
yeah, so it ended up being that I had to speak in hypotheticals. I knew I wasn't crazy and I wasn't scared, so I persisted with the hypotheticals and the way of looking at things through this, and tried to get people to visualize what I was saying so that we could have the conversations, which is essentially what we're doing through the meditation now, I guess. So it's all kind of relative when I think about it like that. But yeah, so it's something that you can experience in your reality and bring into this reality, pretty much.
I'm just thinking of the word alignment, right? So that's what you, for me, that's what you are encouraging with this work, is alignment with more than what we, or more definition perhaps to what we realize when we go into the field.
expanding perceptions.
Yeah. So you know the feeling when you, sorry.
Expanding synchronicities, it's like something that I practice as you spoke that. It's looking, finding places to fit it in, if you will. It's like exploring how to put it together, how to find it, how to make it, how to create it, looking for it. It's in that question, it's in that wonder, it's in that curiosity that it all exists, because without it, it won't exist.
You're actually like, yeah, that is so, it's really interesting that you say this, Jessie, because this is what, when we're called to do missions and stuff, and when we're accessing the other dimensions, if we are in tune with what we're experiencing, we can actually observe, and there are pieces of a puzzle to put together in these dimensions that will assist us in the ways that we need assistance to evolve our soul. So this is actually, yeah, it's really interesting that you say this, because it's synchronizes with that with what I've actually written next, and that's what it is all about in these other dimensions. So it's sort of, it's really try and follow when you, the life that you're living here in this dimension, right, is relative to all of the other dimensions within. But as you go in, so say I have a mission to heal the abuse in whatever that, whatever way that, whatever form it takes in this dimension, as we move in those other dimensions, that message is still the same, but the perception is different, and also the message comes through different, and the mission, what you have to achieve is different based on the reality that you're in, but it's always the same thing that you're doing across all these different timelines. And so when you all those little pieces in these other dimensions, you can actually collect your purpose and understand your purpose and bring it back into this earth realm and assist yourself in evolving your soul in this dimension to the next. It's like a full game. And I wish I could explain it better, but it's just what you were saying, Jessie, is exactly what happens. You end up collecting like these puzzle pieces that all make sense to your life. And even Alison, you were saying before how, there's different things that it just, what you were saying made sense to you and your life and the things that you're experiencing, right? And it kind of highlighted areas where you could be working. So it's all relative to each of our missions, life, what we're trying to heal or overcome or piece together. So
And as we do it for ourselves individually, we're doing it across the board, as it were. It's not, although we identify it in our own context, that vibrational, what's the word I'm looking for? Matrix, you could say, is not individual.
No, 100%.
So whatever we work on is not individual, it's universal. That's the word I'm looking for.
100%. You're absolutely right from how I understand it. And this is the thing, like each of us are connected so intricately. Everything that you do individually affects the whole, right? And so anything that you shift, anything that you collapse, anything that you remove, anything that you evolve, affects the collective, right? And the collective that's resonating same frequency. And so this is what creates pathways. When someone creates a pathway out of something that potentially was really crappy
Yes,
experience, that creates a pathway for others to actually access a way out also. If somebody experiences like a certain
exactly.
joy or like is able to increase that, they're all pathways. And so this is what creates like
Yep.
energetic leaders when we're just like tackling these things and have that awareness that we're working collectively and taking
Yeah.
our lives, you know, and our missions and our roles that we play and our energy, like it's, I don't know, we're contributing in a much larger capacity than what we realize.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's what makes it
That
also,
therefore this. Sorry. Go.
no, I was just going to say it makes it really cool to work in a group like this, because then when you're understanding where other people are at, you can understand how the collective is going to be affected.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
it's exciting.
And so when people are also, I feel so sad sometimes for people because I identify having been in that position before about what is your purpose, and your purpose is, it's, I don't know how to say this, it's just to be, right, to be all of what you are. That is our ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
And I say just, it's a lifetime, I think. Not that it takes a lifetime to get there, but that's our lifetime journey. I mean, when people feel lost about what their purpose is, that's when I feel really sad, because they can just be what they are and they're serving. That's the service, is to find you and your light and experience love in that.
And so by each of us doing the work that we're doing on ourselves, it's offering new pathways for people in those experiences that we've each had. Access the pathways out as well. We're creating pathways out of those. So the same experiences that you were talking about that you've had, as you find ways out of that situation, people follow through. They follow. You're creating those pathways. The same of all of us.
Yeah.
Ourselves, in situations where we're stuck. You know, that's why we're being called to use our gifts and share them with the world. This is how we create and create pathways and ways for people to experience other things through our experiences. There's so many layers of ways that we're assisting.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it anyway. That's how I've experienced it. I think it goes back even to like when I was saying about honoring your presence in here, and honoring the pathway to back to yourself. Like, I don't know, like there's, even for men, like that, when we come back to that situation, like the more people that create these pathways and that conscious awareness and bring light, the more people that are open to it can come out of it. And like that's what's exciting, that it is coming to light, because you know, we're working together to bring the light to these situations.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about life and how
Yes, I do too.
kind of like goes back to, you know, how some people have had just really, really challenging circumstances throughout their life, but they just keep going, they keep, and they find pathways out. And that's like, that is like that they're given missions, they're given things, we are all given certain things to achieve based on the, you know, like our energetic calibration. And yeah, when people move through those challenges and don't give up, it just gives so much hope to others that are coming behind, facing similar challenges or resonating, you know, feeling, yeah, like we have. It's inspiring.
We miss out on so much when we close off to the beauty of life.
With this expansion of energy, I feel so much more myself. It's like I've cleared the pathway through the snow. It's much easier to walk it now.
Sounds like
you're melting the snow.
He will be.
Oh, with
Yeah,
that,
you
all
can
that
come in
heat,
Calgary in a couple
just
months.
melted down. With all that heat, I felt the pathway just melted down. Much more easy to walk now. Feel so much more in tune with myself.
Yeah, sounds
Also,
like
feel that electricity you were talking about. It's still buzzing through my veins and everything.
that was awesome.
But I've always been really attracted to energy for some reason. I knew I wasn't this body a long time ago and knew that food was just energy, everything's just energy, but this was just like opening for full power. Turn it on. Bzzzt.
Just be sure you don't miss the moment.
Oh, I'm still in it. I'm still in it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like,
I'm sitting with a grin from ear to ear. I normally don't smile, but this is really comforting. Just enjoy being present right now and listening to you tell your experiences so I can sort of tune into those.
yeah, and stay there till it's done with you.
Oh, this will never be done. This is how I'm going. Whoa, much more comfortable.
Right?
Yeah. This is gonna be my new me. This is a better version of me than I was this morning. So I'm gonna enjoy this for the rest of my life. Just make it better and better.
Yeah.
That's the thing, Heinz. Once you've experienced that, it never goes away. It's like anything that your muscles experience, they have a muscle memory, it's banked there. You can recall it just by putting yourself back in that space to recall it. And so essentially that's what you're doing.
You just need to close my eye and I feel the heat buzzing all through my veins, everything. My hands get hot. So it's gonna be interesting to go to bed tonight.
Yeah. So I'm impelled to tell this story. So I lost my dad like 4 years ago, and so he had cancer, and then like I asked him, like, I've done a lot of research on cannabis and stuff, and then like I was like, Dad, you should buy some THC and CBD. Anyway, so he bought it, but he never took it. And so I brought it home, like when he passed, and then like, I don't know, like cannabis for me never done. I wouldn't say never done, but like at this point, it kind of like give me paranoia. So, but anyway, like the night before, talk to friends, and I'm telling that like, you know, like cannabis is not really for me. And they say, oh, have you tried like oil or like tea and stuff? And I was like, oh, I do have some oil at home. So anyway, so the next day, like my wife goes to a friend's house, and then like I'm by myself with Kai. And then my wife said like that she took that oil and it doesn't do anything. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. So anyway, so like I take like a couple droppers of that, and because I knew like Kai's gonna go to bed like in about an hour, so you know it's not gonna kick in for another like 45 minutes, an hour anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So take it, and then like same thing, right? Like so it's about 7 o'clock. Like I'm like, oh, he goes to bed around 8:30, so we got lots of time. And but then like it started kicking in, but very strong, like very freaking strong. And like it was like I've never been that high. Like it was absolutely insane. So anyway, so like, but like the connection that I had with my son was like extremely strong, even though like he was crying and stuff. And it's like he felt like I was different. He was crying, but I felt that connection too. And it was after a while, because like I'm a little panicking, because like usually like I'll fall asleep within like half an hour, 45 minutes or so. But like now it's been like almost an hour and a half. It's during like right at his bedtime. And so I'm panicking a little bit, but then I was like, okay, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And eventually fall asleep. And I was like, okay, I got the time for myself. Like, and it's like everything opens up for me. Anything I was doing, it was like so powerful. And I was like, okay, what can I do? So I just closed my eyes, and then like, it's like the meditation that I usually do, like that will take me like 10 minutes to get there. Like it was instantly, everything was instantly. And then like the wisdom that was like really rushing through me, I had to write something down, because I was like, what if I forget? What if I forget? Right? But like I was pushing myself. I was just like one thing. It was maybe silly, but then I was just like, so I was forcing my eyes, say my left eyes, to look further and further. And I was like, maybe at one point I can see all around my head. You know, if I stretch it. So like, I figured like if I stretch just a little bit more out of my comfort zone, like that's how I develop my superpower, whatever it is, you know. And it's not like, you know, like if I never went to the gym, like to start like going to the gym for like an hour, you know, just like, I don't know, do a plank for the first time, or like do a push-up or whatever, right? So just push it a little bit more. And then like after a little while, I don't know how long, I was impelled to go outside and to ground myself. I was like, okay, no, I gotta get out of this this trip, because like my wife's gotta come home. She'll be like, you're crazy, right? So I go outside, and then I ground myself, and it was worse. Like I become like the grass. I become nothing. Like as soon as I close my eyes, it's like I disappear. I couldn't feel myself. So I was like, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So like I gotta find a way like to, you know, bring myself back up. And so an hour after I put Kai down, like you start crying again. But like now I'm like so high, like it's not even funny. Like I'm functioning, right? Like I'm totally fine, but like, it's just like I see things completely different, and I'm impelled to be like, okay, Paris can be home, like, you know, probably in an hour or so. You know what? I'm just gonna take a break. I'm gonna just lay with him, you know, and then we fall asleep together. Well, I didn't fall asleep, like, and now my wife comes home, and I'm like, well, I gotta tell her because she'll be like, why you're sleeping? You know, it's 9:30, right? And I tell her, and then like she wants to be on that same buzz, right? She was like, what did you take? I can't believe it, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, just a couple of droppers of this. You said it didn't work, but it works on me, you know? So, but yeah, we had a fantastic night, but every time, you know, we talk about things and everything just like go perfect, but then the wisdom comes in, and then like I tell her, and she's like, oh my God, you again? You know, it was just too much. It was too much. But yeah, but it really taught me like that we're so infinite, you know, and it's like I was opening realm, like I was opening like power that I didn't know I have. You know, it was just like incredible. You know, like, yeah, so, but I'll do it myself, nobody around.
That's those innate multidimensional senses I keep talking about, Pascal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that,
you know, it's
that's
being
the
able
thing,
to
like,
sense things on a totally different level than just the physical.
Yeah, talking about it, but experiencing it now, you're like, as Heinz said, like, you know, now it's my way of being, but now it's you have the choice, right? You can go back, you can shut everything down if you want, right? Not paying attention to any of it, or you can explore it and then like get it stronger, get a stronger connection with all these powers, right? So,
and this was the CBD oil, not
what's
THC. That was with CBD oil, not THC.
No, it was THC. Yeah, the CBD, like it was gone a long time ago, right? And then this one, seriously, like it's been sitting there for like 4 years, 4.5 years, I think. And I think it's because they ferment, like the oil ferment or something. I don't know. But like
oil lasts a year or so when it's normal. So yeah. It thinks it's
it was past its expiration date.
It was just right for your date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could microdose it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. But like, you know, I just took a little bit yesterday, you know, because my wife was like, oh, let's have this trip, right? and the thing, like, so I took just a little bit, but because I was so high last time, like it feels like nothing now, right? There's nothing to compare.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But I'm not going to do that more, you know. But I had the choice to either embrace it and like enjoy it, because usually, like I said, like I might be paranoid, right? And but I was embracing it, and I was just like, okay, this is the medicine. Like I know I took it and stuff, but like it lasts, like seriously, guys, 6:30 p.m. to 3:30 in the morning.
Wow. You must have
That
like
was
a really
my trip.
it's like sensitive or just
And then like yesterday, I wasn't functioning right. So, so I was just kind of a zombie yesterday. I was just like, oh, you know.
Is that before or after you had a top up?
After what, sorry?
After you had it like a top up, like you had more.
Uh,
So you had a little bit
no,
more.
like yesterday, like it dozed off like probably around, I don't know, noon. And then, yeah, we took a little bit like, I don't know, it was like probably like 6:30, 7, something like that. But it didn't do anything, right? To compare, like nothing. But it's just, oh, because I was like, okay, like I know I've got a pretty good connection with Kai, but I would just want to make it stronger, right? So I'm gonna use this as a permission slip to get me there.
Just exploring
And
that.
did he ever get me there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pascal, the oil is well researched for cancer, and
Yeah.
when I didn't want to go back on the oral chemo, I decided that was what I was going to do.
Mm.
And I had a practitioner that was helping me. But so when with the oil, the size that I was taking was a rice grain.
Right.
And it was, I think, 1/10 of the therapeutic dose. It took me before the therapeutic dose.
Yeah.
I was
So
just constantly high. I'm also
so are
like
you
super
saying I
sensitive.
took a little too much?
No.
A grain of rice versus 2 droppers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 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 Because I took a dropper before and it didn't do too much to me. But like, man, like time went by, right? Now it's potent. It's potent.
Well, and it's also got to do with your own vibration, right? Your
Yeah.
vibration has changed.
Yeah. And like I was acting in the kitchen by myself and like nonstop. Like it was just like anything I wanted to do, I was just doing right and then. And then I was just like, okay, well, if I practice this more and more, I can be this. No problem. And I was just like, yeah, yeah, it was just like, yeah. If you would have met me that night, like I would be the most powerful person there. I would have believed that I'm the most powerful person there. You know, nothing stopped me. Nothing stopped me. You know,
Yeah.
so and like I was going with my like the desire and intention. Like, you know, as soon as I put my intention, I find my desire of doing something, and then like I put my intention towards it. Oh, this thing. Okay, everybody knows about chakras. And I discover when I was like putting my 2 finger there, and then RJ shows like so like you feel your finger stay on top of your head, and then like you imagine that you're reaching your hand from your head and touching your finger. Anyway, so I was doing that, and then eventually, like I felt like my crown chakra opened so much, and then like I felt the energy of the chakra that I like it was going clockwise.
Yeah, cool.
Like I really felt it. I was just like, oh my God. You know? So, but like the focus I had, it was just like anything I was focusing on, like It was unwavering focus.
Mm.
So, but don't do this at home. This is just an experiment. I'm not trying to treat or diagnose your
Go into town
your
and do it.
issues. Keep it balanced, guys. Keep
Yeah.
it balanced.
Keep it balanced. Oh, so less than
Keep it
2
balanced.
droppers.
Yeah, less than 2 droppers. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I
Thank
don't
you.
know if I had a connection to what you guys were doing today, but
No, I think it shows how, like, when we how we can access different dimensions, and it offers us different perceptions. Yeah, and ways of
yeah.
focusing in on everything, different details, and like different parts of ourselves. It's just another way to explore ourselves, you know, and an example of sort of tapping into those other dimensions of ourselves. So it's all relative.
And a lot of it has to do with the intention, right? Which is
Yeah.
why there's ceremony around doing psychedelics. It's really important.
Yeah, I don't think, like, my personal opinion, I don't think that experimenting with, you know, like, with things is necessarily I don't think it's just another experience as part of a human experience. It's only when we become attached to things that it becomes hindering
Yes.
to our progress.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'm not impelled to do this like today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Really,
no.
you know,
No.
it's
Yeah.
like I have no attachment to it, right? Like it's just like, yeah, like it just. But I think the key in those experiences, like you know a lot of people that goes for ayahuasca trip and stuff, and it's to bring that state of being back in your doing,
Yes.
right? Because like.
Exactly.
Like you can experience those things and then like the next day, like, oh yeah, you know, it's just because I was like that or whatever, right? Like because I took this or I took that. Or you can say, well, it shows me what was possible for me.
Like kicking
Right.
down a
And
door.
now I can experience without it. Right. Because
Exactly.
I know the feeling of it.
You know that it's there. It's like, you know that those realms are there.
And
Yeah.
kicking down the door, you can still open it afterward. You had broken the lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to break the lock. I had the key.
Yeah, but you left it unlocked.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's been a really informative and beautiful day here, but it's time for me to go. You all have a nice day.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah, you
sign
as
it.
well, Heinz.
Thank you, Heinz.
See you,
Thank
Heinz.
you for a really great experience.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Heinz.
Bye.
Ebony, thank you.
Jesse.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that meditation.
You won't need to take oil again, Pascal.
No, exactly. Well, the thing, like I did a meditation with RJ that day, and it was like
Yes.
the space shuttle meditation, and it brings you like to different frequency, up and up and up and up. And then
Well, that's
it's
basically
like,
what we did.
okay, yeah. So like it was kind of a stepping stone for me. So I got there
Mhm.
during the day, and then at night, like I went a bit further. Yeah. So it's what a fun thing to experience with different things. Or you can just block yourself and be like, no, I don't want to try this. I don't want to try this. Right?
Yeah, it is a way.
Yeah, for me, it's just always stay open, stay open, stay open. Stay open to the possibility.
It makes
What
me
else
so
is possible for me?
yeah. It totally makes me curious, and it makes me curious about the workings of people and like how they just I don't know, makes me want to yeah, just like I don't know, just makes me super curious.
Mm. Yeah, no, exactly. Like hearing the experience of others is just such a gift.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, I like to stay open. Stay open.
yeah,
You know, and we
yes.
were talking about raising our frequency and like some being, like we might be able to see beings, but other beings don't see us. It's so weird. You know, I was walking earlier, and then like this girl, like she passed me by twice, you know, and both times like it's like she wasn't there.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, she was so connected to her phone and her watch that, you know,
Mhm.
that maybe she didn't see that I was there or didn't care. But yeah, I thought it was fascinating that, you know, and that's what I experienced, you know, like that's like I mentioned, like, you know, I go to hospital and then like, you know, when people were wearing masks and I decide
Mm.
that I'm not going to wear a mask. And then I walk through the hospital and then there's someone that's handing mask right at the entrance. And it's like they didn't see me. I just walk right by.
Yep.
You know? And I was just like, my God, like what's going on here?
There's another example of that came up. I was watching some documentary about like, you know, if somebody's stressed and they lose their keys or something, right? And they're like, oh, I've lost my keys. And they're in that state of
Mm.
like, they just, their keys are lost. That's it. They're running around. They cannot see them. And then when they've calmed down, they come back and they're just on the kitchen bench or something, but they didn't see them before because they were
Or
in
they're
this,
in their hand.
yeah, or something. Yeah.
Happens before to me.
Yes, yes. But they don't see them because they're
Yeah.
in different different resonance. So they just don't they to them, they've said in their head that they've lost them, so they can't find them. So they don't see them. But then once they come out of that and lift their vibration, there they are. Like they
Yeah, in
just
that panic mode, right?
hmm,
You're in that panic mode, and then like you like, you know, like the saying, it says you don't see clearly,
yeah. Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? You don't see clearly. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Different field. Same,
But
it's relative.
it's even further than that, right?
Mm. Yeah.
They disappear.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
So is that relative to the Mandela effect then as well?
mm, Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Guys,
nice. to
great,
Yeah, go ahead.
great day. I'm gonna check out.
Yeah, I'm going to check out too because it's getting a little bit late and I have to get up for an early appointment. So thank you very much for sharing with everyone, sharing
No, thank you
yourselves.
guys.
So cool.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks
I will
again,
catch up.
Evan.
I will catch up that meditation.
You'll enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you for the experience, everyone.
Thanks, all. Next time.